Hey everybody, Adam here with Hometown Acres. Welcome back. So we are out here getting the excavator all fueled up and greased up because we have the opportunity to repay a favor today. If you've been following the channel for any length of time and have seen any of our videos inside the woodworking shop, you know that we've got a pretty nice grizzly planer, but it's about 20 years old, and when we bought it, it wasn't that nice. It's probably a $4,000 or $5,000 planer, and I got it on Facebook Marketplace for 800 bucks because there was some things wrong with it. Basically what it was the helical head on our planer. These heads have 100 different teeth on them, and the teeth are four-sided, so when they get dull, you can loosen that bolt, turn it, and you've got four sides before you have to replace the whole tooth. Well, the previous owner, when they went to go change teeth, they put the wrong bolt back in with a different thread size, so when they went to go change it the next time, they couldn't get it out. It was seized up in there because it was all cross-threaded and everything. So they broke the head off, leaving the shaft of the bolt still in the hole, and then they tried to drill it out by hand, freehand, ovaled the hole out, and now you can't get anything back in there. So if you were to try to run it without one or two of the teeth in here, you're going to leave a strip the whole way down the board, basically rendering this entire planer useless because it's not going to give you a good quality product out the other side. And a friend of mine ended up he has a tool and die shop where he can do precision metal work like that, and repack full the helical head with weld and then retap those holes perfectly in alignment that the cutter head would then work perfectly again. And he did that for me for free. Maybe a couple of baskets of firewood, which is nothing in comparison to, he turned that $800 20-inch grizzly planer back into a $4,000 or $5,000 planer. So I feel like I've got a little bit of extra work I got to do to even the score. I'll show you when we get over there. All right guys, here we go. We got the excavator brought down. We are on site, and this is the task we are up against. So this friend of mine, he recently had his property logged, and he had the loggers haul all of the firewood to the back side of the business here. So, there's the shop, parking lot. Got all of this firewood hauled to the back part of the parking lot here, up out of the mud. And he didn't have them haul this here because he's planning on cutting and splitting all of this and selling the firewood. What he wants to do with it is have the young guys from the shop, I don't know how many employees he has, but he's got a pretty good sized business here. He wants to have, the 18-year-olds, the 20-year-olds, the 22-year-olds come out here in the evenings and weekends, cut and split this up, teach them the value of hard work, and give them all of the proceeds from the sales of the firewood. Nothing in this life is given to you. They're going to have to work for it if they want it. But at the end of the day, he is giving them all of the wood to turn into money if they choose to put in the work. And we were kind of talking about this. There's probably, I don't even know, it's hard to estimate how much wood is here, but if you get this all cut and split up, probably $20,000, $30,000 worth of firewood here. If somebody takes one summer, evenings and weekends, and get this all processed up, one of his young guys could go buy a brand new car and pay cash for it. So as you can see here though, it's kind of a mess right now, and what he wants me to do is hop in the excavator and just get all of this stuff piled up. So my plan of attack here is I want to take and make piles of all the bigger stuff, and then make piles of all of the smaller stuff, and kind of get it organized in here, cleaned up, because again, this is the back of the business here, and he doesn't want it looking like junk if he's got customers pulling in here. So we're gonna go ahead and get started. Hopefully, maybe I can even get a couple of saw logs out of here to take back to the sawmill. Most of this stuff though is shorter. As you can see, it's 4 feet long, 5 feet long. There's a couple of longer logs, but like that one there, that's no good for lumber, that's firewood. But I'm sure we get to picking through here, we'll find something that we could throw on the sawmill. So the hardest part with a project like this is coming up with a game plan. Where do you even start? Because this is a lot of wood to sort through and stack, and to make matters worse, they dumped all of the wood right where they wanted it stacked. So basically all of the wood is in the way where I need to have space to start organizing piles.
The best advice I can give you on a project like this is think about it for 5 minutes and then just get started. You'll figure it out as you go. If not, you could waste a lot of time trying to think about the most efficient way to do it, and I find that I do my best thinking when I'm actually doing the task. So you'll see here in a minute, I start on this side over here and realize that I don't have enough room. I'm kind of handcuffed and I can't work. So I switch over to the other side where I had a little bit more room to stretch out and I could start organizing piles. So on this side, I quickly found out because it was so crowded, I was likely going to have to move all of the wood twice. I'd have to move it out of the way once to clear a spot to start piles, and then I'd have to move it right back to where it was, but this time all the logs would be organized and facing the same direction. So this is what I mean about just start. I moved logs over on this side for about 20 minutes, made some progress, but marginally, and realized that I needed to start on the other side where I could actually move around and only have to move the wood once rather than twice, because as you can see right here as I pan around, if I had to move all of this wood twice, it would have taken me forever. So once I get moved over to the other side, you can see just how much more room I have to work. Now to start the first pile, I do have to move some of the wood out of the way and touch it twice, but once I get the first bunk started, I can actually start grabbing wood and stacking and only have to touch it once. And as I stack wood, I'm actually starting to work on clearing space for a second bunk, and this is where the situation and game plan really starts to develop and improve. If I hadn't just started, I'd probably still be thinking about the best place to start. Meanwhile, I ended up figuring it out while making some progress down on the other side that was more congested. Now that I've got two bunks established, you can see I'm actually starting to be able to sort a little bit. So the pile on the left is for logs that have sawmill potential, and then the pile on the right is just firewood poles. Now I realized as I went back and was editing this video, I may have made it sound like my buddy was making all of the young guys work their evenings and weekends to come out here and make firewood, and that is not the case at all. He is simply providing an opportunity for these young kids to make some extra money if they want to. When he saw how much wood was left behind by the loggers, he saw it as an opportunity that he could pass along to some of his guys. There's a chance to make some real money here with no investment required. The wood is free, you just have to put in some sweat equity to turn it into money. But nobody's going to hand it to you and nobody is making you do it. It's up to you. The wood and the opportunity is here for the taking. Which I think is a great lesson that he's imparting on his young guys in the shop, and honestly, that's all the more you can ask from an employer, is to provide you with opportunity to be successful, make money, and develop your skills and character.
All right, so we've got a pretty good start on this. I've got 3 pretty big bunks going, kind of smaller firewood. This is stuff that's borderline saw log material, probably just some bigger firewood, but there's some logs in there that looked pretty nice, and then some bigger firewood over here. And I think we are getting to a point now where I might run down to the house and go grab the LS tractor, because we just got our 3rd function installed on there, and I have yet to try out the log grapple on the new tractor. And I think right here would be a good situation for it, because getting set up and organized with the excavator was definitely faster. I had a lot of logs that needed turned sideways and were crisscrossed and everything, and the excavator is great for straightening that all out. But now I've got a bunch of logs facing all the same way, so I think I'll be able to come in here with a grapple, grab them, back up, pull in there and offload them, and just keep going back and forth. And since the tractor has a faster ground speed, I think at this point from here on out, finishing this up will be quicker with the tractor. So I'm going to go grab that and we'll give that a try.
did end up using the tractor for about a half hour, but it ended up not being as efficient as the excavator despite its faster ground speed. And there's two main reasons for that: reach and visibility. The excavator can obviously reach out a lot further away from the tracks than the tractor can reach away from the tires. And in any tractor, visibility to your loader is always limited. I found myself trying to look over and around the front hood a lot more, whereas in the excavator I have full visibility of my bucket and thumb. Now, if I had to move these logs more than 20 to 30 feet, I think the faster ground speed on the tractor would have made it the right tool for the job. So I did switch back to the excavator, but it was worth a try, and I got to try out the new third function and the log grapple on the new tractor.
All right, guys, there you go. That whole mess is cleaned up and stacked. After about 6 hours on the excavator and maybe an hour on the tractor, we went from this to this. You know, it's funny, you get to doing mindless, monotonous work like this, very repetitive over and over, and your mind starts to wander. My buddy fixed that helical head on my planer about 3 years ago without expecting anything in return. And here we are 3 years later doing some big project like this for him with expecting nothing in return. And a quote comes to mind that I've shared with you guys before: do everything with a good heart, expect nothing in return, and you shall never be disappointed. You know, a lot of people ask, what does neighbor Doug charge me to keep my second roadside firewood stand over at his place? And the short answer is he doesn't charge me anything. In fact, neighbor Doug has never charged me anything for any of the help, guidance, experience, wisdom that he's imparted on us. And he told me a long time ago, money will ruin friendship, so it's best to just leave it out. Basically, it's as simple as this: if you need help, ask for it, and if a buddy asks for help, give it. And the most important part, don't keep score of who helps who more. There's your food for thought for the day. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. If you did, give me a big thumbs up, click that subscribe button, and we'll catch you on the next one. Thanks for watching.